name is Josh Gottry. Welcome to my weekly lesson, an opportunity to present a piece, discuss a topic, address a technique, or explore a musical concept. Today we're going to look briefly at the idea of mallet placement, where best to strike the bar to get a good sound on a keyboard instrument. Certainly playing the right notes, playing the right rhythm are critical elements to performing a piece of music well, but certainly so is striking the bar in the right place with the right stroke to get the best possible sound. So we're going to look at that briefly today. First of all, before we start even looking at that, we need to talk about mallet choice. Choosing the right mallet for the instrument you're playing and the piece that you're approaching is critical. Choosing a mallet that's significantly too hard or too soft, too heavy, too light, can also drastically impact the sound that you make. So for every instrument, and even for different rooms or performance spaces, it's important that you consider your mallet choice as well, because the right stroke and the right technique cannot necessarily compensate for a poor mallet choice. I don't want to go into that topic in depth because there's just a wealth of information available as far as picking mallets that are appropriate for the instrument, but certainly a little bit for instruments like the vibraphone or the marimba, you want to use some sort of yarn or cord mallet. For instruments like the xylophone, maybe some sort of polyball or rubber mallet might be appropriate. For solo playing, maybe something a little harder for ensemble playing. And then of course for bells, you're going to use something that's more like a hard plastic. Using a yarn mallet on bells will never particularly sound good. Using a hard plastic mallet on vibraphone or marimba would cause damage to the instrument, so of course we don't want to go there. Okay, so let's talk about mallet placement on the bar. I'm sure you've been told aim for the center of the bar. That's the best sound of the instrument, and of course that's great suggestion. The absolute center of the bar is actually not the best sound you can get, particularly as you get to the lower end of the instrument. Slightly off center is the best place to strike, but if you aim for center, you're probably going to hit slightly off center and get the best sound. It's really important, however, that as you're playing on the bar, that your mallets don't play offset, because that pulls us further away from our playing spot. So if you think of drawing a line right down the, well, let's say the center of the bar, but just slightly above, you want to play on that line at all times. So as we play, let's say, a C major scale, just one octave, I'm looking to make sure that my sticks remain parallel the whole time I'm playing that scale. And I'm striving for the best sound. If I offset my mallets thinking as if I'm going to play with both hands on the same bar, I end up an inch or so off center with both mallets and end up with an inconsistent sound. Back to just off center with both hands parallel. And hopefully you can hear a slight difference between the two. If you're even more careless and allow those mallets to offset, you can end up with one mallet in the center or close to center and one mallet almost directly over the node. The node is the point on the bar that is where the string passes through. It's not because the string passes through there, that's just the acoustical design of the bar, that point is the point of no resonance, regardless of if there were a hole there or if the string was passing through there. That's just the point of least resonance. The antinode, the center of the bar, is the point of greatest resonance. Okay, so but if we get careless and have those mallets slightly offset, one in the center, then the other one ends up almost over the node. Listen to this. And you see that the right hand does not sound near as good, full of sound, as the left hand does that was playing just off center. So again, first rule is to try and make sure that that line of performance is really consistent with both hands and we don't offset. Yes, if you have to play a roll or some sort of fast passage on the same note, you may have to offset slightly. In that case, make sure the mallets are nestled very closely together and that one is slightly above center, one slightly below center. Don't allow the one hand to be center and the other closer to the note of the bar. You want to split the difference on the middle of the bar so that you get as consistent of a sound as possible. Okay, when we're playing the upper manual notes, the flats and sharps, there's a couple considerations that can be brought into the mix as far as how best to get the sound that we're looking for out of the bar. First option, of course, is to play center of the bar for those, just as we did for the lower manual notes. Here's the B flat scale. And you notice that I'm reaching for the same spot just off center on the upper manual notes as I was on the lower manual notes. In this case, I'm slightly above off center on my lower manual notes, slightly below off center on my upper manual notes, in the hopes of bringing my mallets ever so slightly together to make for less distance. If that's not practical, for any number of reasons, either the speed of the beast demands that you move more quickly and reaching towards the center is just a luxury that you don't have, or perhaps you're playing with more than 2 mallets, playing with 4 mallets, and the arm position required to put both mallets in the center is impractical or possibly even impossible. You can certainly use the edge of the bars. Now the edge of the bars, we do want to be careful to make sure that we're striving for as far towards the edge as possible. Okay, just off of the note of the bar is not going to give us the best sound. We want to go as far as we can towards the very, very edge. So we're looking at something like this, where we're really striving for the best playing spot of the mallet as near to the edge as possible to get us the full sound. Now it still won't be the best sound because the distance to the edge is smaller than the distance towards the center of the bar. So it's still less than ideal, but at least better than playing on the note. Listen here as compared to just off center. Again. But if I move ever so slightly even just a half an inch or so, the sound degrades significantly. Here against the edge, and moving in about half an inch. You can see that the margin for error is very, very small. So it's important that when you do play the edge, you're very, very careful about exact placement of those mallets. Here's that B flat scale again, using the edge of the bar. Again. Trying to get the best sound of each note as we play them. Of course, as you're playing great spots on the bar, it's important to also make sure you're using a nice legato lifting stroke that draws the sound out of the bar as opposed to a downstroke that drives the sound into the bar and certainly does not give us our best sound. Hope this helps. Please use that in your performance, both in your exercises and the pieces that you might be working on. Good luck.